It says we're going live and we're live.
Hi, welcome to the StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as J-Nitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 326.
Yes, it is.
It is indeed. Have you been enjoying the Olympics?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the CrossFit Games are also going on.
Okay. Did they do that on purpose?
It's always this weekend. I don't know.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I've been watching the swimming very religiously.
Awesome.
So yes, very excited about some of the exciting moments during the Olympics, and have been enjoying just all of the other sports that the Olympics are bringing into my life as well.
Yeah.
I'm not formally engaged in the Ravelinics as I have been in years past.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm definitely getting a lot of knitting time in as it's been hot outside, and I've been enjoying watching. So
Yeah, I don't know if I've been much of a knitting mood, but yeah, definitely watching the obscure sports, like handball and I'm trying to think of what else we watched. Ping pong. We watched the table tennis.
yes, yeah. Archery. We've
Yes,
been
skeet
watching the
shooting,
Yeah.
archery. Yeah.
Yep. So we like cut the cord light, right? Like, so we don't get our TV through through Charter, the cable company here in town. We do YouTube TV, and there was like a really big easy button, just like record all of the Olympics. So my morning schedule has been getting up and watching the preliminaries that get recorded at like 4 o'clock in the morning for swimming. And then like every other sport is represented there as well. There was mountain biking. So my family is really big into mountain biking, and that's been fun to watch. But yeah, yep. Claire says that she's been binge watching the Olympics there, and Vonda and Nikki say hi, as well as Teresa. So hello, those of you that patiently waited as we were getting things set up.
Yeah, I can kind of notice that I'm a little delayed.
Yep.
So the restart of my computer didn't help at all. Hopefully my internet traffic speeds up or does something better, but it's okay. I only have one FO to talk about, and I feel like I've already talked about it a lot.
Okay. Yeah. I was just going to mention in my day-to-day life. So I know that you've got somebody that has a driver's permit as well.
Not
So
yet.
yesterday, it was my sister's angel date, and we were trying to honor her in all the ways that we could think of, even down to I have a pair of flip-flops that I inherited from her that I wore. But Ellie took the car that we got as a hand-me-down after my sister's death, and she drove Quentin and I to the swimming pool. Which was like, it was the first time that we hadn't driven somewhere, had her drive around, and then had, me drive home. So she got to leave our house, drive to the pool on little lesser roads, like not the super busy. We took the road less traveled, and park. I swam some laps, which I collapsed in a heap of useless limbs once I got home. I'm not used to swimming laps, but Melissa competitively swam, and then drove the car back, and then watched some Olympic swimming last night. All things that I think Melissa, short of hugging a tree, I probably should have gone out and hugged a tree. That I think of her often, but definitely yesterday as well. But it was kind of mind blowing. I'm like, what, Melissa, I think would just be like about Ellie driving that car.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I don't know. Our test is this week, so
Okay.
no permit yet. So
Okay,
no.
so you haven't entered the fun world of like Ellie's like, I'll go, but only if I can log some miles. So that was my, I was like, it's really hot outside, Ellie. You don't want to go to the pool? No, I don't want to go to the pool. I'm like, I tried to layer on the guilt about like, well, I'm trying to remember Melissa. And then I was like, well, what if you could drive the car? And she's like, oh, okay, then I'll go. How long are you going to be there?
Yeah, we'll see. We have a test scheduled Friday, and yeah, we have been offered a Toyota Corolla hand-me-down. So I'm like, oh, we could be in Toyota Corolla hand-me-down.
Ours is a Camry.
Oh, wait. No, the one that got offered to us was a Camry as well. I just said the wrong one. I knew it was the match to yours.
Okay. Is it even the same color?
No, it's red.
Okay.
Burgundy or whatever.
That's cooler. That's cooler than our tan one. But yeah, no, it's definitely been interesting. She's very cautious. So she would probably very cringe that I'm even mentioning this on the podcast, right? But she's like, very cautious about hitting the gas because she doesn't want to like fly, right? And so she's a good little learner. Every time we go out, she's doing things better and better. But it was kind of like, again, mind blowing to me yesterday that she could drive us somewhere and park and we could go do something and then she could drive us back. So yeah, I offered, Jeremy's on Ragbri this week, so he's biking across Iowa, and I offered to stop at Chipotle for supper. And she's like, but I wanted to drive home. And I was like, okay, well, that's your choice. We can go to Chipotle or you can drive home. And she wanted to drive home. So
very nice.
Yeah. What are you going to do? But yeah, that's what's going on in my non-knitting world.
I'm trying to fix the angles. I don't like the shadows today.
Yeah. Okay. It is, we had some thunderstorms, but it is brightening up out there, and I think it's going to get real warm real fast.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
but we did have some different news, different things to talk about. We're doing a giveaway for that Eat, Sleep, Knit. So it's out on Instagram and Discord. So go sign up. There's still time.
One more week. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Get your entries in there. It's very fun. And there's lots of prizes there. Thank you to them.
Yep. And thank you anybody who tagged us or whatever and put us in their stories. Please do that. Spread the word. We want to give this away and share it with as many people as we can. Also, we are doing our KAL, so a multicolor KAL.
Yep.
And then
and we're watching Pleasantville on Friday, which is super fun. I had forgotten how many big name stars were in there. Paul Walker and Toby Maguire and Reese Witherspoon. And those are just like the teenagers, right? William H. Macy is in there. So yeah, I'm super excited about watching it. I love the use of color in the plot, which is how we're tying it into the multicolor KAL. Amy and I are working diligently with some summer schedules to get some speakers, some multicolor speakers. That we're super excited about, but not ready to reveal dates or names yet. Great. And just a heads up, I did send out the folks that had originally, so we're coming up on the first year of I think like the first year of ZKN is this week. Yes. Is the birthday. Yes, it's been an exciting year. Just thinking back on all of the fun things that we've done, but those were annual memberships. And so we have kind of restructured those membership levels, similar rewards, although we're not doing a patch and pin. Again, more in the works as far as what the levels will be, or what the swag will be per level, and then it will match our ZK sign up order of priority or offering for ZK 2022, which is kind of surreal. I don't know that. Yeah. There's a lot of twos in there. I don't know that I ever thought we were going to have that many twos in there.
Yeah. No, for sure. And just the amount of planning with my current workload is like,
yeah, no. It'll be fun. But yeah, so if you renewed at the end of July, or if you signed up at the end of July when it was first offered last year, or the beginning of August, you got an email in your inbox from me about renewing your membership. And those are now at $1 a week, $2 a week, or $3 a week are the 3 tiers. Which when I think about it, I'm like, there's probably some people that I'm enjoying what they're doing enough that I should throw them $1 a week or $2 a week or $3 a week. Kind of, I think Patreon does something very similar.
Yeah.
So very exciting there. Make sure that you check your inbox for that. And we'll get another year rolling. Super excited.
Yep, for sure. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then this is our FO episode, right?
Yeah, I have a feeling the FOs next month are going to be like quite a bit more substantial because I have been working on bigger projects, and some of them are like getting into like put it all together situations. So, but this, I had to look, like, had I talked about this yet? And it wasn't linked in the last FO, but I know that I've talked about it because of the yarn itself was something that I bought at ZK, and I had already knit with it. So I brought it out during, that favorite things kind of episode. And yeah, so this is Molly Girl Yarns. It's one of her DK, it's Rockstar DK. So it's 100% American made merino, spun, milled, everything American merino. And then the pattern is the Daybreak tee, but heavily modified because I made it shorter, and I believe that it called for more positive ease than what I gave. And yeah, it's generally the same pattern. Like, there's no crazy modifications, but it's definitely a lot shorter and tighter than it's in the pictures. So if you go out there and see it and you're like, oh, I just made it skinnier, and then I started this lace pattern sooner. So
got it. So it's bottom up.
Yep, bottom up.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. The incident with I think you said you just used 2 skeins. Sorry, I was holding up 2 twice. Did you just make it as long as you could on the body from the bottom up, or?
Yes, I just there was some left, so I did kind of like get a gauge of where I wanted it to hit on my bust from the underarm. And then I had quite a bit left over of the second skein because, once I had gotten this off, these are worked. This edging is worked at the same time. You don't have to pick up or do anything for the sleeves. Once you're done, you're done. You just seam it at the top. So worked in flaps and seamed at the top. I believe it's a free pattern. So yeah. Or there's a pay version and a free version. The free version is on her blog and has all of, the cooking
ads.
The ads where you have to really search for the pattern. But since I was kind of using it as a recipe, I just went out and did the website when I needed it.
Cool. Yeah.
General idea came from that designer.
Very pretty, very pretty. Yeah. And the number of people that commented to me just how adorable you were at ZK with all of your dresses and your crops. I'd keep knitting crops too.
Yeah. No, and it's fun. And the one that I was making out of mohair, I think I posted it to Instagram, and it's orange and kind of black and gray. That's going to be a crop as well. So
lean in. So you kind of are doing the Megan stuck on repeat, but you're choosing different patterns and making them crops, but you're like all crop all the time.
Yeah. And this one, I had so much of that yarn that I'm like, oh, I got to make it long sleeve. So it's going to be a fall to winter crop.
Yeah. I was just going to say, and I'm like no crop none of the time, but then that's kind of a double negative. So then you're like, does that mean that she's always doing crops? Right. So you can't say it that way.
Yeah.
No crop all of the time.
Right. But again, this washed up and blocked really nicely. And I highly recommend the yarn as far as, give it a shot. It was a pleasure to work with. And once I started, I couldn't stop working with it. So
yeah, I think we both have 2, or you may have gotten yours at the same time as mine, but my farmer's daughter arrived and I love it. And then I'm really excited to see the next, the third color in the fade, the suburban stitcher.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So fun. So fun.
Yeah.
All right. My FOs are, I'm going to do them in the order, the reverse order. So the most recently finished, these were, I cast on during the Olympics and have knit a pair of socks. These are the Never Lost Together. And this is the Farmer's Daughter Farm to Needle. It's a really springy base. The July base was, so I think I'm up to date. And I can't remember, I've got the tag over there because I just woven the ends on these. What's the colorway?
I'm your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry, yes. And so I just really liked the way the subtle tonality played in these chevrons. And then it's got a spacious OMG heel, and the patterning is repeated on the back there. So socks are definitely my happy place as far as watching television and knitting go. So I've got I grabbed our fiber nymph from the goodie bag and am knitting some skews now, which are even more like, for me, like on autopilot, right?
Right. Well, and I saw the new color for Farm to Needle, and it had Targhee in it. And I was like, oh, I could almost, do a sweater of this one. Like, I really like it.
It's also a sport weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I could do, yeah. I wanted to do a sweater of it. Loved the color, loved the base. I was like, oh, but I don't know if I'm.
Early knitter Megan would be like, why the heck did you just knit a pattern that does this? But current day Megan is like, I'm in love with it and I want to do it always. So this is the outline tee. You probably have seen a lot of outline tanks out there.
Oh yeah.
This is my
and crops.
Yes. So again, no crop all of the time for me. I made it longer. Did the recommended amount of positive ease. So it's pretty big on me, but it's got, some nice drape. And this was my June my July use it or lose it yarn from BU Fiber. Yep. So and this was
Very
me
nice.
doing the helical. So every round I was switching and it striped like that all on its own. Yeah, super interesting, right? But it's got this really fun detail. So you start at the bottom, and basically, other than the setup row to where this is going to end, so that the ribbing doesn't also, I feel like I'm like peeking, so that the ribbing doesn't also unravel, right? You just basically, this was all just knit in the round, knit until you get up here where you separate. I thought about pulling a Debbie, because Debbie always adds sleeves to her things, because I did have extra yarn. But I thought the dropped stitch detail looked a little funky if I added.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I almost should have like increased here and had the thing go, or the dropped stitch area go out, and then it would have looked a little better. But instead I had decided to keep it, and it's got a substantial amount of sleeve because it's got some positive ease, right? So yeah, and then at the very end, you drop that stitch, and you find out how much, when you don't want them to go to drop, right? It feels like it just goes, all the way down, right? But as you're like, I'm purposely dropping a stitch, I had to sit there and like work out the let go of yourself, quit clinging to yourself. And then the back of the neck was, she wrote that you could pick up stitches and add an edging here all around. My back of neck was really loosey-goosey, so I just picked up stitches just across the back and picked them up and then bound them off to give it a little less, so it wasn't as wide at the back.
So for the V-neck, I know that you're not much of a deep V. Did you have to alter it at all?
I can't remember if she wrote it in the pattern or if I was just like, I think she wrote it in the pattern. So it's by Jessie Maed, M-A-E-D, Maed. She wrote in the pattern to consider if, when you're knitting in the round, your gauge is generally tighter. I know for some people it's not, just the opposite. But when you're knitting flat, because that purl back is a little looser when you're doing it flat, that you should consider changing needle size. So I actually went down a needle size and found that I thought that my gauge matched pretty closely. I mean, the magic of blocking here, I think it probably wouldn't have been like visible to the eye, right? The big difference. But my row gauge really up as part of changing that needle size. And so my V is substantially less length because of my row gauge changing quite a bit. And then I just did, I did a few less decreases here. So here you're decreasing away some stitches. And so then I just had to know to cast or have that same number on the back when you're doing the 3 needle bind off. Not to give away too much of the pattern, but I absolutely love it. I plan to wear like a cami or something underneath it, but it's nice and loose and loose gauge and airy for a summer top.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Did you identify August or did I miss that?
No, I have not identified August yet. But I'm thinking, so we've got some strategic people on our Wednesday VKN, which we did not mention is free this week. So we'll put that out on if you're watching this in the future and it's no longer Wednesday, I'm sorry, but I'll put it out on Instagram and make sure that we're inviting the masses. But they said, why do you keep on choosing sweater quantities? I was like, well, because a majority of my stash is sweater quantities, but I probably could just grab a skein of sock and have that be my use it or lose it and knit a pair of socks rather than trying to knit a whole sweater with my monthly use it or lose it. But I do have a lot of older sweater quantities in my stash. So
I think that the gratification of getting the bigger quantities out and used is greater reward, right?
Yeah.
That, and there's that risk of losing, how many ever skeins it was.
I'm playing a high stakes game. Yeah. Really up in
more on the
line.
Yeah.
So my June use it or lose it, which I wrapped up before I started that one, is this. And again, it's not as kapow in real life, but this is the Blue Moon Fiber Art Socks That Rock in the County Clare colorway. And I started off, I thought I was going to do a literally over the top. So I cast on this lace panel and kind of by serendipitously, it was sitting in my lap sideways. And I said, I really like that a lot more. So this turned into an improvised top, an improv top, where I was trying to play with these colors in a unique and interesting way. So after I got it about as wide as I wanted, to the tune of about 4 inches, about short of length, as much as I wanted it wide, I then used the provisional cast on, picked up stitches along the edges, and did a very squared increase there. You can see. So opposite of a raglan, right? Because raglan generally goes here to here, and this is increasing here to here. So I think that that's kind of fun when I look at it. And then from there, I did a reverse stockinette panel, setting aside the stitches that I'd need to be able to make the armhole. So I did afterthought armhole on one side, and then when I was seaming up on the other, I just didn't seam those. Actually, I did seam them because I forgot, and I got into the Kitchenering. And I was like, oh crap, I need to unkitchener the amount that I need for sleeves. So this is reverse stockinette in the back. When I was posting kind of in progress photos, our resident intentional pooling person, Burdette, was like, oh, look at that fun argyle that it's creating. So I don't know what happened here. My gauge would be the same and the amount of alternating that I was doing was the same, but it was actually knit in this direction. And that again is reverse stockinette. I really like the way that reverse stockinette looks with super busy colorways. I can show you it takes a very different look on the stockinette side. And you can see there kind of where I was alternating, but you can't on this side really see that. It creates a totally kind of different visual. And then I did reverse stockinette sleeves with those set aside. If I had it to do again, I would probably make it a little deeper, but because again, this is, it's got a lot of stretch this direction, right? Because it's not worked this way, it's worked this way on the main body pieces. So, and then just kind of picked up and, or I had to seam up the shoulder bits here and leave the neck opening. I'm not a big neck opening person, but you could do a little less on the neck opening, and picked up and knit a few rows and then super loosely bound off. And you can see the bottom there. I then added a few garter rows. And yeah, look at that one. That sleeve. Yeah, super fun pooling going on and those are reverse stockinette as well, but I knit them, not purled them, and then inside out, flipped it inside out. So yeah, and I don't know, I think that this could be a super design concept, a super fun design concept to do more than just this lace panel, right? You could do a contrast color, you could do some sort of 2-color mosaic motif. So my brain is kind of churning on that as far as a design concept, and maybe having multiple options on a improv top like this. Cool. But fun with construction and funny things that my mind does with yarn to make it do interesting things, right? And again, there's that lace on the sideways. I really liked it. Because there's no way you could do that the opposite direction. So it's like, I'm going to do something that you can't do in the opposite direction, worked the other way. So yes.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yep. And Nikki was asking what the pattern was. The last one was of my own brain. So I was just improvising. I was going like, what if I did this? And then I did this. And then I did this. The previous one was the outline tee. So I don't know which one she was asking about, but yeah, no, I feel like maybe some mojo's picking back up. Although we've got a lot of with ZK, I felt like my mojo got a little low because we had a lot of stuff going on. And we've got a lot of stuff going on with ZKN now too. But with the Olympics and the heat outside, I'm getting my run in. Yesterday I got a swim in, and then I'm coming back inside. I'm not an outdoor cat when it's like heat index of 100.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my mojo. I was working away on things that were just so long, and there wasn't any new and exciting thing, and I decided not to start anything. So I just posted earlier today, like that I've been hand winding some yarn that I'm looking forward to casting on when some other things are off, and I did spin in a little, but not enough to finish some yarn to show you. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just get home and I'm like, I don't know. I mess around on my phone.
Your daily schedule is really changing too, right?
Yeah. And it's getting better. Seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, but at the same time, when you get closer to the end, the stress ramps up, right? Like, yeah, it was stressful right here. And then like, okay, the time amount spent is going down, but the stress levels are going up, because every little thing is just something everybody wants to know about.
All righty. Well, we did have Pat and Nikki saying hello, and Randy saying hello out there. So wanted to say hello to you folks as well. Looking forward to ZKN tonight.
Mhm.
And as Pat said, and I am as well. So we'll
Yep.
see you. We'll see you tonight. Please join us if you can. And thanks for listening to us talk about our finished objects.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'll join you if I don't get a last minute 6 o'clock meeting. When I get those ones, I just like, nope, I need to take a nice break. And then I have a 9 o'clock meeting. So yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Ugh. But if I don't have one of those, and I've been off work since like, 4:30 as far as meetings and being actively talking on, a Zoom,
Mhm.
I think I might join you guys.
Excellent.
All right.
Hope to see you
Bye.
there. Bye, Ufta.